Hey everybody, this is Praxis, and in this video I'm going to be talking about something that's only going to be of interest to you if you are looking for a high quality set of knives that is not going to break the bank in terms of cost. I've been looking for a set like this for a long time. I've had my share of knife fails where I bought something that seemed really great and then they literally fell apart in my hands. Fortunately, I still have all my fingers after that experience. Well, I came across 3 different sets of knives, and they are exactly what you're looking for. If you're like me and you just want something that's quality, you don't want to pay for some kind of like expensive brand name where you're just paying for the name. You don't want to pay for something that has like a gimmicky back marketing story, like the legend behind the knives or whatever. You just want high quality knives that keep a nice sharp edge, don't fall apart in your hands, and are made by a company that seems to stand behind the quality of their products. If you're looking for that, this is exactly the video that you've been looking for, and if you're not, you have absolutely no reason to watch it. The first set of knives that I owned when I kind of moved out on my own was something I probably paid about $30 for. Plastic handles, the metal didn't even have a full tang that went into the blade. I remember trying to cut with things and the metal was just kind of falling out of the plastic after a couple of years. After going through that and all my knives eventually falling apart, I thought, at this point, I just want to buy some knives and they'll just be my forever knives. I don't mind spending a little bit of money on it if I'm going to be buying quality. And I went around kind of shopping, looking for something that was going to, be that set for me. Something that was quality. I didn't mind paying, maybe like $100 or maybe a little bit more, but something where I just buy it once and then I'm good with it. That is something I think is oftentimes lacking in the consumer market, where people very infrequently are looking for quality. There are people that are looking for luxury things where they want to buy a lot where it's like, it's got a gilded handle, inlaid with gold, and there's like, mother of pearl in there. There's people that want that kind of like luxury, like flashy bling kind of stuff. And then there are people that would just want like, just give me the absolute cheapest thing, whatever's the lowest price, that's what I'm going to go for. That kind of middle area where, you're willing to spend some money, but you don't want to be spending money on like, mother of pearl handles. But at the same time, you don't want to be buying junk. That kind of middle ground is kind of hard to navigate because, in the same way that the middle class here in America has been kind of hollowed out, you just got these two polarized ends where, one group of people just want, whatever's the absolute cheapest, and I'm going to get tired of it anyway, and I'm going to want to throw it out. In fact, I was just driving down the road the other day, and I saw a big billboard with a broken cell phone on it. It said, "Broken is beautiful," and the idea is it's some kind of program where, like, if you break your cell phone, they'll keep getting a new one. And people love that idea because, they don't want the cell phone that they're passed down to their great grandkids. People want to just, constantly throw out the old thing, get the new one. Throw out the old one, get the new one. And then if you decide that you want to like spend a lot of money on something, you don't usually get something where you're buying extra quality. Like I mentioned, you're getting like gilded edges or, mother of pearl inlay or, all these kind of things that where you're not actually getting extra quality, you're just spending extra money. It's really hard to just find that kind of sweet middle. I thought I found it. I'm not going to name these knives. I don't want to throw them under the bus, but I thought I found it with these knives here. This was a set of knives that I got. I think I spent about $100 on like, a set about like this, and these are the nice ones here that I'm going to talk about in this video. I think I spent about $100 on them, and just after a little while, the blades, they literally started falling apart in my hands. I think this one I was cutting the cheese with this one, and it just snapped right apart in my hands. I forget. I think I was just doing bread with this knife here, and it just broke right at the base here. I spent a fair bit of money, and the tang goes all the way through the handle, but it's subpar quality materials. And I'm going to get these out of my way so I don't cut myself during this video. Again, I'm not going to mention what company this was. I made a video on it if you want to look through my archive. But I thought I was getting something of quality, but it was just garbage. So another company saw that video that I made, and they said, hey, you know what, you might be interested in trying our products. And when I usually get approached from companies, I'm kind of like, okay, send it over. I'm going to make the lousy video review, and then I'll never hear from you again, because that's the way it usually is. If you're honest in your reviews on a channel, you'll get one product from a company, you'll say what you think about it, and you never hear from them again. So I thought this was just going to be another one of those things, like, okay, I'll try out your stuff, and I'll do my honest review, and it's not going to be 100% positive and glowing, so that'll be the end of it. Well, I was let down because what they sent me is actually really, really good stuff. If you are looking for high quality knives, just the knife set that you're just going to buy, and you're good for the rest of your life. And I can't say from personal experience, but maybe it's the kind of thing that you can even pass down to your kids and your grandkids. They've seemed really, really high quality. Now, this is one company that has 3 different brand names. So I'm going to be talking about these 3 different brand names. One, which is Piclohas, the other is Shiokami, and the other one is Kokusaid. They're all made by the same company, and these are just sort of different flavored brand names that they have, that they release things through. And I'm going to talk about all of them. And again, this is not going to be that exciting of a video unless you're looking for some good knife sets. In fact, if you want to skip the whole video, let me just tell you right off the bat, spoiler alert, they're all really, really good products. I'm going to put links down in the description below if you want to get any of this stuff. And I guess in the rest of the video, I'll just kind of show you what was sent to me, and I'll talk about why I'm so positive about it. The first thing that they sent me was this bread cutting knife. I used it as a tool in a review about a bread cutting machine that they had, and I was really impressed by it. I mean, it's just a great bread cutting knife. It's got a serration down the side of it here, which makes it a little bit more difficult to sharpen. For that reason, I tend to like to stay away from serrated blades, but I mean, it does a really, really great job. And it's not that kind of super sharp serration that's really difficult to sharpen yourself later. This is one that you could manage sharpening yourself if you had a little bit of patience. Really, really excellent bread cutting knife. Really big bread cutting knife. It looks like, I don't even know if you could buy this in the UK. This is probably one of those like assault knives or something like that. So, really, really nice bread cutting knife. After, I was really positive on that. They said, hey, we'll send you a couple more of our sets. And these are the 3 sets that I'm going to go through. This is their Piclohas kind of, basic kitchen knife set. I'm going to go through that a little bit. I don't know why I'm so fond of this one, but this is like this is their Shiokami. It's kind of like a Japanese inspired design. By the way, I should mention right from the beginning, these are all made in China, and I know a lot of people oftentimes have negative views on things made in China, and I think that's really, really unmerited. The idea that China makes a lot of cheap stuff is only because that's what a lot of the market here in the United States wants. We just want the cheapest possible quality product. You look at the Great Wall of China. Yeah, you think of those iconic, stone structures spanning over the hills. That's the high quality part of the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China, spans, for is it hundreds or thousands? It's a really, really long wall. Not all of it is like that beautiful part. The beautiful part was in an area where there was a demand for high quality. So, the people that were building it built a really high quality, beautiful wall. But then you get further out into the west where people didn't really want like a high quality, beautiful wall. And there's just like rubble piles and things like that. The Great Wall of China is a great example of what China is able to do. If people want something really great and beautiful, they can create that. And if people just want a pile of rocks to keep the Mongols from coming through, they can do that as well. And that's why I think a lot of the products that are sent here from China are low quality, is because that's what Americans generally want. We want the lowest quality, cheapest kind of crap because we plan on throwing it out later because broken is beautiful, right? So all this stuff is made in China, but some of these things, this set here it says that it's designed in Germany on the little brochure here, and this says that it's designed in Japan. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I think it's just a marketing kind of thing, and I don't fault them for that. I mean, if the quality of products is there, the quality of products is there. I don't know if this means that one of their designers flew to an airport in Germany and took a piece of paper and pencil out and kind of designed this while they were in the airport in Germany, and then flew back to China to put it together. And ditto for Japan. They just flew into Tokyo for a 30-minute layover and then designed this nice set. But I don't know, I'm joking about it. But what's really important is the quality there, and the quality is here. I really like this set here. I think I'm just sort of sold on the whole fact that it's this portable set. So I'm just kind of partial to this set, but they're all really nice. So there's the Piclohas set, the Shiokami set, and then there's a small set, which I noticed there was kind of a hole in their offerings here. And I said, you guys don't seem to have any kind of a small paring knife. I'll oftentimes use paring knives for, slicing cheese for, like cheese and crackers or something like that. And they said, oh, no, we actually have that. It's from our Kokusaid brand. I'm not sure what you know, Shokami kind of sounds Japanese. Piccolohaas kind of sounds sort of German. Cocos-ade, the only thing that kind of reminds me of is like the coqui frog from Puerto Rico. I don't know if it's like supposed to be like a Puerto Rican inspired design or something like that. But that is this set, which is just a couple small knives. And this is the paring knife, which it's so rugged and keeps just such a sharp edge. It's a great paring knife. This is like my forever paring knife. And it ships with this knife, which is kind of, it's a little bit of a weird knife. I mean, I'm not faulting it because I mean, it does what it tries to do. It's like this kind of eagle beak design. I think you kind of use it for like decorative sculpting in fruit, but when I opened it up, the only thing I could think of is this, like, it's some kind of like an attack knife. I mean, this looks like something like if you were like a video game character and you'd have the loading screen and you'd have this knife and you'd be like in a little animation loop. I don't know, this thing just seems like a weapon a little bit, but I guess it can be a weapon against fruit for cutting intricate designs. The one I'm not going to talk about the packaging of any of this stuff because just, you know, it's packaging, it's fine. But the Cocos-ade set, I do want to talk about the packaging because I really like the way that they did this, and I want to encourage more companies to do this, is that it's not a bunch of styrofoam in here. It's all biodegradable cardboard where these things nested right into this cardboard holder. I really like that. I want to encourage that with other companies. I love the idea that there's very little waste. Now, the knives did come in little plastic bag sheaths, but the amount of plastic packaging related to this set was so much less than the other sets, or, you know, any other sets, generally speaking. I really love this kind of packaging, and I'd encourage more of this. You know, it just makes the world a much nicer place if we have biodegradable stuff, which I can use in my wood stove actually to heat my home. I guess you could burn plastic too, but I'm not going to do that. So that's all I'm going to talk about on the packaging. Now I want to go into the sets individually a little bit. I talked about the Cocos-ade set. I feel like I'm done on that. Just great quality small paring knife set. I talked about their bread cutting knife. That's like a solo knife that gets sold on its own. And now I'd like to talk about these two larger sets. I'm going to start with this one here because it is just kind of the basic kitchen knife set. This is the Piccolohaas brand, and there is one thing about this set that I'm not really all that fond of, and that is actually the design on the handles. Now, they make sets that don't have this type of handle design, and it's just an aesthetic thing. It's just me personally. The red and white marbling on the handles, you know, it's kind of striking, it's kind of dynamic, but it also just sort of looks like the handles are made out of raw meat. And, you know, here at the house, we kind of refer to these as the raw meat handled knives. But yeah, handles aside, and they do have plenty of offerings that you know, don't have the raw meat. Maybe they sent me this one because, I don't know, maybe they're not selling a lot of the raw meat handles. So they're like, hey, you can try out these because they're not selling so great. But, you know, the knives themselves, really, really excellent. This comes with, I believe, 6 steak knives, which, you know, I don't actually eat a lot of steak, so I haven't tried those on steak. But all the other knives, in terms of what they're intended for, you know, really great, really sharp edges on the basic utility knives. This block here is magnetic, as you can imagine. It's not just stickers or tape on the side, and that's kind of a nice way of doing it. I think it is sort of a compact design that you can put this up against the wall in your kitchen. One issue that I have is that the magnets, I feel like I'd like them to be a little bit stronger. On a couple of occasions, I've put knives up here and they've started to rotate a little bit. I feel like if they put little pegs on the side to kind of catch the knife, that would be maybe a benefit on here. But I'm kind of nitpicking at this point. If you take the knife like a normal human being and you treat it with respect and you carefully put it on the side there instead of like flinging it haphazardly there, it's going to work out totally fine. And it is kind of nice that they have the magnetic bar on there because it allows for kind of a compact use of space. They do have extra slots in here so that if you have other knives pre-existing, you can put other knives in there. It comes with a sharpener, and it comes with a really nice pair of kitchen shears also, which are, I mean, of all the kitchen shears I've had, I think these are definitely the nicest kitchen shears that I've ever used. So it's a really, really nice set. Aside from the handles, I think the only thing I don't care for about the block itself is that for me personally, it's a little bit on the large side. that's just, again, kind of a personal preference, and I have sort of a small kitchen. But in terms of packing this many knives into a small area, I think it works pretty well. And if you compare it to other knife block sets, the footprint is nice and narrow. What I've taken to in the past is that I'll buy kind of a standard knife block set, and because I don't want to sacrifice counter space, I'll usually take that knife block set and I'll mount it up onto the wall, so it doesn't even take up any counter space at all. This wouldn't really work for that so well if you wanted to use the magnets on the side, because then it would kind of well, I guess you could maybe put them this way, or I'm not sure about that. But the block itself is a little on the big side for me, and there is a little bit of manufacturing irregularities in the block itself. Some of the stain in the wood doesn't quite hit all the edges. I don't know if that's just my particular block or if that's something with a lot of them that get made. But for me, honestly, I don't really care about the block at all, because all these knives are just going to go into my, onto my magnetic panels that I already have in the kitchen anyway. It's all about the knives for me, and the knives, they're wonderful. I mean, they hold a super sharp edge. I haven't had any of them snap at half of my hands, and I've been testing these for a while. I didn't want to just test them for a week and then be like, okay, yeah, they're good, I'm going to do a video on it. I've been testing them for a while, and they're really holding up. Excellent, really, really nice knife set. I think my favorite is this one here. I always forget the name of this type of knife. These are called, they have kind of a cool name, a Sentoku knife. I think this is kind of my favorite style of knife when I'm chopping vegetables in the kitchen. As you can tell by my Sentoku knife from the previous set, which snapped in half. This is a bit of a smaller one. This is a bit of a bigger one, but I tend to use this knife an awful lot in the kitchen, and very, very happy with it. The way that it all kind of tapers into the handle and everything, super, super happy with that. So excellent set. If you're looking for a whole kitchen knife set, this is excellent one to go with. Now I want to talk a little bit about this Japanese style, this Shokami set here. And I mentioned I'm kind of partial to this. I think it's just because I love the kind of the fabric container for it, which once I pull all these out of the fabric container, it's not going to really make much of a difference. I also like the handles on these knives are really, really beautiful. That is one of the things that drew me to this other set. They had beautiful wooden handles that didn't say anything for the quality of the metal blade inside, but I really love the beauty of the handles of my broken set, which I don't trust anymore. And this set of knives has similar, really, really attractive handles. They feel nice in your hands. When your hands are a little bit wet, I feel wet hands on plastic isn't quite as secure as wet hands on a wooden handle. That's just kind of a personal preference of mine. But I really, really like this set. I'm just gonna, you can kind of see all the knives in this set, but I'm gonna pull each of these out. This is like kind of a basic chef's knife here. Each of them has this little sheath that they slide into so that they're not tearing up the fabric here. Got a longer chopping knife that goes with it. And there's a serrated knife, very similar to this one here in terms of it being a type of serration that's not a big deal to sharpen. You could get a radius file and sharpen that up pretty reasonably with a little bit of patience. And then there's my Sentoku knife. I kind of prefer this one over this one. I sort of like the smaller size Sentoku knives. Again, that's just a personal preference. I just kind of tend to like the smaller ones. And this one it's really light, but they're very strong also. I mean, and I've been trying to break this set, really kind of pushing down through things. And I mean, no knife should break just by pushing down through it, but many do. We also got this. I'm not familiar with this. I think this is the kind of knife that you would use for kind of going into a carcass and cutting things up. Got kind of a thinner profile. Again, holds a really nice edge. And there's one last knife in here, and it's just a regular kind of kitchen chopping knife. And that's it. I'm really, really happy with these knife sets. I'm glad that I bought these junky ones so that I was able to make a video so that this company would see the video and they would recommend their knives to me, because by going through the portal, the gauntlet, maybe I'll call it, of having this kind of cheaper quality, not cheaper in terms of price. These cost about the same price as these other knives, just the quality isn't there. By buying these lower quality knives, it offered me the opportunity to be presented with these knives. And now, after having seen this video, you can learn what I learned, except without having to buy the junky quality knife set first. So I hope you found this video helpful. I think it's really important, just in your regular day-to-day going about of your life, to think about things in terms of their long-term costs. So many times people think so short-term in terms of, what's the cheapest thing that I can buy for right now, and then if it only lasts you a couple of years, then you buy it again, and then again, and again, and again. And after a decade, or even less, sometimes you've paid like double, triple, quadruple the price that you would have paid if you had just bought the higher quality product from the beginning, and then it would have just lasted your whole life. And as you do this in your life and you start replacing out junky stuff with things that are meant to last, it creates a cost savings in your life generally, because you're not constantly on this treadmill of having to constantly replace things. And by getting yourself to that place, it makes it so that instead of you bleeding money, constantly having to replace things, you can save that money up, and then it makes it easier and easier for you in the future to have a little bit of extra money to buy that extra quality product, which again will just snowball and last you, much longer or possibly forever, and which will save you even more money for the future to continue with that practice. So whether it's kitchen knives or whatever in your life, really think about the long-term costs of things, and don't exclusively look at what's going to be the cheapest thing this week, but think about over the next couple of years, what is going to be the most cost-effective and satisfying way to go through working, because it's not just frustrating to be working with a product and having it break. It can also be kind of dangerous. I'm lucky I didn't cut myself when these things broke. If you have like a junky cell phone or a GPS device, what is that going to be costing you? You're out somewhere and suddenly your phone just dies, and you're depending on it, being there for you. You're trying to coordinate with people. Suddenly you can't communicate with them. You're out looking for an address and your GPS goes down. From personal experience, these are things that tend to break a lot. And suddenly you can't get where you're going. If you're like me, you got paper maps and you're going to be fine anyway. But it's not just the fact you have to keep buying these things, but every time something goes down, it creates an inconvenience in your life, and that inconvenience is a cost to you as well. So that's it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you're looking for knives, links down in the description below to all 3 of these sets. And I'm probably going to be doing more with this company, because I've been kind of talking with them about maybe developing some other products, because when you find a company that's really interested in creating a quality product that is of a high value for the customer, is not just the absolute cheapest thing out of the gate, but they're really valuing giving people something that is going to last and not let people down. They're working on building up their reputation as a company that makes stuff that you can trust and you can depend upon. And as someone who's into prepping and preparedness, being able to depend on your tools, you can't really put a price on that. That's it, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe for new videos all the time, and if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so either through Patreon or PayPal.